What is up, everyone? This is the Vibez here, and today I'll be using what I have learned and teach you guys how to use this character right here. Well, technically this is going to be more of a tutorial for new Forsaken players than a tutorial for noob, but I'll make sure to separate each game mechanic to its appropriate videos with Elliot and Slateskin. So you heard about this game called Forsaken, and you don't think much of it, until one character piques your interest. Wait, John Doe is in the game? On second thought... Now, you enter into a match as a noob and have absolutely zero idea what's going on. You try to pop a Ghostburger right in front of the killer and die anyway. You think, this game sucks, and it's not surprising that people tend to get bored and frustrated playing this game and proceed to leave. I don't necessarily blame them. On top of playing the two most boring characters in the game,
oh, that's just fantastic. Oh, what is that? I have very good ping. I'll just let you know. You see my problem here? Like, what is that hitbox? I have good ping. I have very good... Like, what?
I don't think I need to explain this clip. In Forsaken, each survivor and killer are given 1 to 4 abilities that they can use. The reason many consider Noob to be the most boring survivor to use is because his abilities provide literally nothing to the team other than for himself. When you play as Noob, you just sit far away from the killer, pop a Ghostburger, and do nothing until last man standing. Quality gameplay right here. He may be boring, but he's not useless. Noob has average stats with 100 health. He also has 3 abilities that he can use: Bloxy, Slateskin, and Ghostburger. The first 2 abilities are capped at 2, which means once you use those abilities twice, you cannot use it again for the rest of the game. However, Ghostburger has unlimited use. I'll talk about Ghostburger later, but just to tell you in advance, this ability is busted. Noob will drink his Bloxy for around 2 seconds before gaining speed 1 for 10 seconds. During these 2 seconds he cannot sprint and his speed is reduced. So apparently I got some things pretty wrong in this recording. Bloxy upon 2.5 seconds, not only does it give you a speed 1 boost for 10 seconds, but it also clears away any effects, any debuff effects. Something that I never even bothered to use because I had no idea that I was in the game until I actually read the kits very carefully. What could I say? I can't read. In this game, there are 2 temporary items scattered throughout the game: medkits and Bloxy. Medkits take 7 seconds to heal you, while Bloxy work a bit differently from Noob's. It will take around 2.5 seconds to drink it, but instead of speed 1, you get speed 2 for 10 seconds. I'm a bit guilty for not using this ability frequently when I should, but it's more of a habit than the ability itself. The second ability, Slateskin, will take around 1 second to drink. When drunk, Noob gains an overheal of 80 health for 6 seconds, but your speed is slowed by 40% during this time. When it wears off naturally, Noob gets a speed 2 burst for 2 seconds. When it's destroyed, Noob gains nothing. Overheal is a mechanic different from normal healing. If a noob pops Slateskin and their current health is 30, instead of gaining 110 health, they still have 30 health, but has another layer the killer must either go through or wait it out. In Last Man Standing, this ability is the best in the game. Once 6 seconds are left on the timer, just pop Slateskin and it's GG. There is nothing the killer can do about it. Gaining 80 health with the snap of a finger is insanely overpowered. But be careful, as if you misuse it, the killer can punish you for it. In any other scenario, it's recommended to use this as a last resort. I think now is a good time to talk about stamina management. In Forsaken, survivors get 100 stamina while the killers get 110. When you run, you slowly consume stamina, and when you are not, you rapidly gain back stamina after a split second has passed. Stamina management is the most important skill to have in this game, as depending on how it goes, it can either lead you to victory or defeat. Killers will automatically have the stamina advantage, but you can use techniques to lend you the upper hand, such as juking, looping, or simply not running at all. When the killer appears to not be running, it's a good idea to not run as well to gain more stamina. But whatever you do not let the stamina bar reach 0. If this does happen, you immediately lost the stamina management gain. The reason is because when it does reach 0, it takes a whopping 2 seconds to start gaining back that stamina. Unless a cool kid randomly overrides to the opposite side of the map, you're essentially just dead. Despite how broken these abilities may seem at first glance, they are limited. If carelessly managed, you can waste those abilities and be stuck between a rock and a hard place during a chase, especially in Last Man Standing. And even when you have all the necessities needed, you may not even use it due to fear of needing it later. Like I said before, Noob may seem boring to use in comparison to other survivors, but he's not useless. Tied with 007 and 7, he is the most annoying survivor to face as Last Man Standing, which is why you want him to stay out of the killer's sight unless you are confident you can outstamina the killer, leading to this type of gameplay. But what if you don't want the killer to chase you at all? The start of the game is everything, and when a killer kills a survivor, it is crucial to not be its next target. If possible, you don't want it to lead to Last Man Standing, but just to be sure, you want to gain some distance for when that happens. Well, say hello to Noob's most busted ability, Ghostburger. Ghostburger is very unique to Noob. When consumed, Noob gains Undetectable 1 for 10 seconds and Invisibility 3 for 8 seconds. Invisibility is pretty useless. We don't care about that. What makes this ability broken is its undetectable effect. Every killer except for Cool Kid has some way to reveal the survivor's precise location. This effect prevents the killers from finding him specifically, except for Last Man Standing where it is useless. Trust me, I had to learn that last part the hard way. What makes this stand out is the fact that it does not shoulder the burden of being limited, leading to various strategies that I came up with. One of which has to do with how to get XP for Noob in the first place. The only way to gain XP other than winning the game is by doing generators. However, killers can easily capitalize on that vulnerability and gain some free hits, leading you most likely being targeted. And I don't think I have to get into the anomaly that is Forsaken hitboxes. There is one way to at least reduce the chances of this happening, and that is by popping a Ghostburger before you start the generator. But this can only lead to you finishing one sequence, maybe 2 at best since it lasts for a pretty short time. With generators, once you finish a sequence, not only do you get rewards from that, but the time is reduced, except in Last Man Standing. Each generator has 4 sequences to go through, but they are not required to win the game. For my case, I need these generators to achieve milestone 4, but the risk of doing so is still there. But I found a way to guarantee 2 sequences and even 3 if you're good, and I'd like to self-dub it Ghost Gen. Essentially, as soon as you pop the Ghostburger, immediately do the generators. While doing the generator, the action does not cancel and will activate even when you're doing the gens, giving you plenty of time to finish 2 to 3 sequences instead of 1 to 2. This is very useful to use to avoid the killers, especially 1X since its unstable eye blinds them while tracking survivor's location. It's very satisfying to see the killers pass by you when you try this. Though this will not always work in these 2 scenarios. It'll still work in more scenarios, but these are the 2 most common scenarios where I see this not working. When the killer is near you, or when another survivor is doing the generator with you. While they can't track you, they can track them. And the amount of times this has happened to me is so frustrating. Another strategy you can use has to do with Slateskin. Like I've stated before, Slateskin is easily punishable, but there's another method of using this ability, and that is with its second ability when it wears off naturally, a speed 2 boost for 2 seconds. This is what I like to call Ghost Slate. In Last Man Standing, undetectable may be rendered useless, but the invisibility effect has received another role, and that is to conceal the fact that you are using Slateskin. When you pop the Ghostburger, you can't use the other abilities for 4 seconds. This combo is pretty niche since the invisibility will wear off in the last 2 seconds, and if the killer realizes what you're doing, you are punished for it. But the speed 2 boost is more than enough to make some ground. Just be careful since Slateskin has a 65-second cooldown. If you manage to lose the killer in a chase, you can pop a Ghostburger and immediately heal yourself if you have a medkit. You can simply pop a Ghostburger and walk to the side the killer was before. Point is, Ghostburger is easily spammable and can make tracking him hard if you don't want him as the final survivor. For the love of God, just make sure not to use it in front of the killer as you're still very visible to them.
Oh no! I can't find him! Where could he have possibly gone? It's not like I can still see him back against this wall!
And that's it. Congrats on learning the basics. Now all you need to do is get good at the game and beware the forsaken hitboxes.
Oh, let's go! Let's go! Oh, that skin looks so good from Rags to Rich. Oh my god. Let's go! Milestone 4 is mine, baby! Ha ha! Oh, it feels so good. I played with this guy non-stop for God knows how long. I can finally use another character. But first things first, I do one. What the? Eh?
You won't live to see the next day. We are soldiers, and soldiers don't go.